From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may see all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum hunabku eva maya e maho. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho.
Welcome, welcome everybody to Health and Well-Being with Viata. And that prayer of the seven galactic directions is one of the most healing and powerful prayers you could listen to. If you're on a path of healing, those words, Ayum Hunabku Evamaya Imaho, are all about hailing the harmony of mind and nature. So I love introducing you to health and well-being with that energy of pure love, of pure connection to the cosmic energy that is running this body. Yes, it's running this body because we're going to do some joint rolling this morning that's all about connecting us to the galactic cosmic portals that are in our joints. So, first, let me welcome the village to the village. And come on in to my 320 square feet of tiny living, peaceful, joyful, clean, and wonderful. So today we are celebrating a graduation, two graduations. My graduation from a soul partnership that was kind of like a marriage, but it was long distance, and my partner's graduation from his body. Whoo, soul finally left the pain ridden, suffering body of my partner, Mikhail Eubanks. So I'm kind of dedicating Marriage 102 me. I had Marriage 101 that boy, and the lessons I've shared, some of the lessons I learned in that one, mostly patience, 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 patience. And that lesson carried into my recent relationship, soul partnership relationship, a marriage 102, I'm going to call it, because we had an agreement to be exclusively joined by only the two of us. Mikhail and I were soul partners. He wanted to call me his wife. Okay, I was his wife for a while. But now Mikhail graduated from his pain ridden flesh body that was deteriorating rapidly. He lost lots of weight. But today the ACES score is his story. And this hopefully today will help you prevent some of the pain and suffering that my partner experienced, especially over the last year. It was just interesting and amazing to watch the pain and suffering. But Mikhail was my teacher. And that's why I stayed in this relationship, sort of. I mean, we were long distance for a long time. From the beginning, we were a long distance relationship. I would go to his house on the beach. He'd come here. We back and forth. We went to Cuba together, which was wonderful. And we did a lot together, like Scrabble. Scrabble games were real common, and chess games. Great lesson. I have no regrets whatsoever, because every relationship, as you get older, you realize the relationships you're in are teachers. And Mikhail was an excellent teacher about ACEs, adverse childhood experience. He was the best. And so we're going to talk about that on this show today, and hopefully it will help you prevent the pain and suffering that I witnessed with my soul partner over the last year. And as he shared so much with me about his life, that's why I can share this with you. That's what it's all about. We should not be keeping these experiences within us, because I believe personally every experience, especially traumatic, difficult, challenging, conflicting confrontations, are meant to be shared so that others can avoid them if they wish, or at least learn from them. So thank you for being here this morning. Get your pen and pencils out because we're going to have some real good lessons to help us all grow and improve our health and maybe have some longevity. My dad's the only person I knew personally that lived to be 95. Actually, I had a very good friend, Mr. Brown, lived to be 102. I learned a lot about him too, but he left with a pacemaker, diabetes, and all these things. But he lived to be 102. Wasn't in the best shape, but he did live, and that's partly because his wife died early, and he didn't have any conflicts in his relationships. His wife died, I think, at least 15 years before he did. So he had no conflicts. Anyway, let's do some joint rolling. I know that's why you're here. Why joint rolling? This is my lifestyle that keeps me healthy, strong at 70 and keeps my joints, along with good eating habits or no eating habits. Joint rolling has 3 or 4 major purposes for us. Number one, it improves your circulation. Number 2, it helps your lymphatic system to drain. Movement in general is what keeps your lymph system healthy. Number 3, your immune system gets really revved up when you're breathing. And then number 4, your muscles get toned because the muscles surrounding these joints are going to be not lax and weak, but strong when you exercise them in every way. Every way. I actually saw something that was new to me. I'm always learning something new. We talk about stem cells a lot in the health community and in the medical community in general. People are buying stem cells, promoting stem cells. And I heard a video, I think it was yesterday or day before, about how to produce more stem cells naturally. I'm going to share that with you. It was mind-blowing because I'm already doing it. I didn't realize that was producing more stem cells. I'm going to show you how you can produce your own stem cells to correct, to heal, to repair the tissues and the cells in your body. But let's start with some deep breathing. Blow out all that. My friend Obadiah always said, you exhale. Well, let's exhale. Blow it out first. Now, take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it for a little while, 4, and exhale. You can exhale through your nose. Most of the time I'm breathing in and out through my nose. Sometimes you need to exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Hold it, and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. You want to keep that going throughout our joint rolling because number one, it's a form of worship. When you're consciously deep breathing and exhaling, you're actually worshiping this kingdom within. Remember, this is the Yeshua, the Messiah, also known as Jesus, said the kingdom is within. What does that mean? All these cells and organs and tissues and glands and all this stuff going on inside this sacred temple is worshipped when you bring more oxygen. That oxygen actually is stimulating the whole body to produce, to heal, and to work perfectly. So deep breathing is so important. If you're on a health healing journey, keep it up. Watch more videos on YouTube on different breathing techniques. There's a ton of them out there. Just as today, we're going to talk about ACEs. There are there are more and more videos on ACEs than ever. When I was studying this about 10 years ago, there were very few. Now you could spend the whole day learning about ACEs. There are TED Talks, there are lectures. That's how important it is that health professionals are creating educational videos for you to learn what is ACEs. And we're going to talk about that in relation to my partner who demonstrated ACEs perfectly, because at the end of his life, there was a lot of pain and suffering. And he checked off all the yeses on the ACE questionnaire that determine how long you're going to live and how much suffering you're going to have. So let's do, I see I got some comments. Let me just open up the comments, see what's going on here. Robert Young says, interesting. Thank you, Robert, for joining us this morning. And he says, we love joint rolling. Great. Graduation. Yay, 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 yay. That's what it's all about. Life is for the living. Absolutely. And the graduation comes just like with my first, this is what I call my first marriage 101. And I graduated from that. I didn't kill him. He didn't kill me. We didn't even shoot each other. There was no drama in that classroom at all. Marriage 101, we graduated. We split the proceeds from the house, sale of the house. We went, and now we're friends. We're actually friends. Because he comes over to my house, my son's house, to see his grandkids every other week or so. And we can sit for hours and talk. That's how a relationship is in the Marriage 101. Marriage 102, we're going to talk about today, which was very different. There was no altar saying, I do, I do, I do. There was no ceremony. It was just a spiritual partnership agreement. And it was long distance, so it was quite different. And I had no children from this man. We had lots of intimacy, but we traveled together. But it was very different classroom. Marriage 102. We're going to talk about that today so that your life can be better. Learning from the lessons that I'm sharing with you, hopefully you will have a better, healthier life. So I'm going to put on Time for Healing by the Sounds of Blackness. My favorite all time. And I have my scroll. This is for educational purposes only. I don't own the rights to this music, but they work well. It works well for my joint rolling. Okay. So let's put on Time for Healing, Sounds of Blackness. Turn that down a little. Yay. It's time for healing. All right. Let's roll this big head around because the neck is your throat chakra energy. And let me turn that down a little. The throat chakra is where a lot of issues can come up, partly because we don't give it the attention it needs. So let's roll this head around, stretching the muscles, strengthening the muscles, and you actually have lymph glands in this area as well. So you're doing the best workout for all that circulation, lymph glands, immune system, and harmony with the rest of the body. Let's go the other direction. Old wounds and scars keeping us apart. Oh, so true, so true. Time for healing. Time for healing. And I was talking to someone about how we're not going to get very far if we don't heal our traumas. And the woman said, well, not everybody wants to heal their trauma. Not everybody can do that. She's so right. Not everybody can do that. But if you're willing, you're going to move, you're going to evolve. You're going to evolve and get rid of the sicknesses, the disease, and all that quicker if you can release the traumas, heal the trauma. So let's do the shoulder roll, breathing in and out, blowing out all those regrets and sadness. I did not grieve long for my partner's departure because I had started grieving last year when I realized how sick he was from the VA hospital visit and all that. And then this week, and let's roll those shoulders forward, breathing in. This week when I saw his lifeless body and him barely talking, I had to shed some tears just thinking about how far this man had come to be in this position. 77 years of life that ends in a bed with sickness and lots of morphine, unfortunately. So, okay, we've done. Let's do some swimming real quick in the sea of energy. Woo, woo. Feel that energy surrounding, love energy, hopefully surrounding you wherever you are. Backstroke, backstroke, backstroke. Breathing in. Now you're working your back muscles and getting that spinal cord loosened up. You want to keep that spinal cord loosened up. Spiritual adjustment going on here with the spine. We want to have perfect alignment with love and the creator's energy of spinal fluid and all that. So let's get on the floor. We got to learn to live together. Let's get on the floor and rotate the ankles and the wrists. Those are the magnetic and cosmic tone, resonant tones. Wrists and ankles and going in both directions. And this should be something you do first thing in the morning before you get out of bed. Because your body is the river, the blood flowing is stagnant, and when you wake up, you want to get that river flow, that river of blood flowing. And then let's rub the knees. Rub those hands together, get those knees softened, and let's roll. Love is the cure. Loving yourself first. You got to have healing. You all need healing. And reverse. Now, with these rolling exercises, if you are stiff or you can't do this, the next best thing is to straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. This is the next best thing. If you can't roll, just bend the knees and straighten the legs. Okay? And especially if you can't roll this leg, then the next best thing is to just lift and lower. So we're going to roll it around just so you see that this is what you need. The energy you need to get this chakra area, all these spinning wheels going, is to roll those legs around and reverse that. And this is the joint that is your spectral and electric resonant portal. These are portals that are opening up for your blood to flow and your lymph system to flow better. Okay, let's turn over. And let's see if we can keep the music going a little bit. And let's try the other side. Rolling, rolling, rolling. It's a lot cooler in my house today, so I got socks on in case you were wondering. It is like, it was in the 60s here in Florida this morning, but as usual, we're going to go into the 80s today, so I won't need all these clothes later on. But for now, they're keeping me warm. Let's reverse that. Don't forget to breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and breathe in. All right. So let's get on our back now and just bring those legs, the knees to the chest. Massage your spinal cord. Got to have healing. Love is the cure. Loving yourself. This is a love event for yourself. You got to take care of yourself first. You can't help other people if you're not loving yourself. This feels so good. I could just go on and on. But listen, let's stop this. Breathe in. Turn over to the side and come up. And there, we've done it. Give yourself a hand if you've gotten this far. Doing good, doing good. So let us now do some vagus nerve work as our final love offering to the body. Rub those hands together. The vagus nerve is the largest nerve in your body. It runs from the back of your head, your bone right here, all the way down your spine, and then branches out. It's like the tree of life. If you call it the tree of life, is your vagus nerve. Brain stem all the way down to your butt area, and then it branches out everywhere. Isn't that a magnificent creation? So when we do this massage back here, breathe in, let go, squeeze and let go. You're releasing tension in the body. You're telling your vagus nerve to get to work to feed, activate this tree of life. Start just squeezing and releasing. Squeeze, release the shoulders. Breathe in, tap the chest. This is your thymus gland here for your immune system. Tap, 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 tap. Breathe in, then go down the arms. This area right here can relieve a lot of pain in your body. If you just slap, tap, 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 tap. And under the arms, get those lymph glands rolling and moving, detoxing. Tap, 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 slap, slap, slap. Love your body. This is nothing, no voodoo, Hindu, anything. This is love for your body. Your body loves to be touched. Then you move to the breast and you gently touch the breast. Say, I love you, breasts. A lot of women don't love their breasts. They don't touch them. And then they go to the oncologist and they want to cut it off. So let's just prevent that and tap on the breast lovingly. Frankincense oil on the breast with a little almond oil or a base oil of apricot oil will help keep the breast healthier. Then it comes up to here to let go of trauma, as we'll talk about, to keep them from getting any disease. But just massage your breasts every now and then with frankincense oil and base oil. And then always go under the breast and get the lymph glands loosened up. This is loosening up, relaxing the lymph glands around the breast. And then, of course, your navel area is your microbiome city. You want to always give that some attention. You have any indigestion, just start tapping around that area. And then remember, back here, give your kidneys some love. My partner's last diagnosis from the doctor was the kidneys were failing. So that was just a reminder again to love on your kidneys in more than one way, not just physically, but a lot of kidney problems are from too much criticism and too much acting like little kids. That's what Louise Hay says. So just give those kidneys and adrenal glands a good tapping. All right, let's take a deep breath. Blow it out, blow it out, blow it out. And we're going to take a meditation break while I go to my studio. Let's see. Just take a moment to prepare your mind and your heart to receive the message that the universe is bringing to us today through this program about your adverse childhood experiences and how you can avoid sickness and disease. Breathing in life and love today. Thank you for joining me. Now, again, my topic today is ACEs, all about adverse childhood experiences, dedicated to let's see, 5-year relationship with a man that taught me so much. Oh my goodness. So much he taught me that I have to share it with you because we want to prevent his message to me today is tell the people about my life that they might avoid the suffering and pain that I went through, because he went through a lot of that suffering and pain. That was the end of his life, was suffering and pain. um in fact, I would say the last year was just extreme. It went on even before that with bladder problems and all the health problems, and I thought I could fix him. You know me, I had so much experience with my dad and my own life, and I said, oh, I can fix him, I can fix him. But I got the pushback all the time from him, like, no, you're not gonna fix me. And part of the reality about adverse childhood experiences, when you've been constipated most of your life, which was his journey, he went full blown into religion and supplements, health food. He did not like to go to doctors or any of that. So I believe that's what maintained his life for what, 30 years or so, whatever with all that he went through. And the supplements, the herbs, he became an herbalist and constipated all his life. He knew how to get things moving. And then the religion helped him soothe some of the pain, emotional pain that he was going through. But what is ACEs? I always like to show this video for those of you who are not familiar. This woman is a real expert on ACEs, and I want to start with her so that you get a full understanding of what ACEs is and how it affects you. And then we'll go into my personal journey with someone who demonstrated he checked off all the ACEs boxes that put him in a category of you're going to be really sick when you get older. So understanding ACEs, let's see what happened here.
The term ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And these are stressful or traumatic experiences that happen in childhood that can increase the risk for significant health, mental health, and behavioral consequences later in life. They really come from a big landmark research study that was done by the CDC and Kaiser now more than 20 years ago, in which they asked adults about their history of 10 categories of adverse childhood experiences. And these include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, physical or emotional neglect, or growing up in a household where a parent experienced mental illness, substance dependence, incarceration, where there was parental separation or divorce, or intimate partner violence. What they found was, number one, ACEs are super common. And number two, that there's this really significant effect. So there's a direct, what we call a dose-response relationship between adverse childhood experiences and some of the most significant and serious health conditions that are facing Americans today. 2/3 of individuals had experienced at least one, and 1 in 8 folks had experienced 4 or more. When we talk about how many of us have experienced ACEs, what we see is that ACEs impact every community, every demographic group, but it impacts our vulnerable communities in a disproportionate level. The big surprise about the ACE study was that for someone with 4 more ACEs, their risk of heart disease was double, right? For stroke and cancer and liver disease and diabetes, even autoimmune disease. And a lot of these things are things that we didn't kind of traditionally or intuitively associate with childhood trauma. But now we can use this science to understand actually what happens in our brains and bodies when we're exposed to trauma or adversity, and especially in childhood. the term, the toxic stress response, actually refers to the prolonged activation of our body's stress response, the release of all those stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol and all of those things that go along with our stress response. And then also the ways in which that affects our bodies. Children are especially vulnerable to this repeated activation of the stress response because their brains and bodies are just developing. So high doses of adversity in children actually changes the way their brains develop. It changes the way their hormonal systems develop, their immune system develops, and even the way their DNA is read and transcribed. And those long-term changes are what we refer to as the toxic stress response. One of the things that's really challenging about ACEs is that they tend to repeat in families, generation after generation. And I will say this as someone who has experienced my fair share of ACEs. Understanding how that might be impacting me and being able to recognize that, for me, is really the key for being able to do things differently. When we understand what happens in our bodies with the toxic stress response, and we understand that it's that prolonged activation of our stress response, then step one is really understanding what are the things that help to regulate our stress response. And immediately at that point, we begin decreasing the harm that happened as a result of our past experiences. So things like mindfulness, right? Meditation, spending time in nature, mental health interventions, regular exercise, nutritional strategies, and my favorite, healthy relationships. All of these things are really scientifically demonstrated to help to regulate the biological stress response, and they improve our outcomes for those of us who have experienced ACEs. These nurturing relationships, they feel good, which is good, of course, but they literally change our biology. When we have safe, stable, and nurturing relationships in our lives, it improves our neurologic functioning, it improves our hormonal regulation, it improves our immune functioning, and these social supports are critical part of healing. If we all understand our role in being a source of buffering care to a young person in need, that is truly transformative. ACEs Aware is a first-in-the-nation effort to train our healthcare providers how to screen for adverse childhood experiences and how to respond in an evidence-based, trauma-informed way that helps to improve outcomes for children and adults.
So I hope that helps you fully get the ACEs initiative, how it started and all that. So I want to share with you what I observed in my partner for 5 years that demonstrated the adverse childhood experience consequences with his life, and even in my life, having to really try and understand this beautiful soul that I met, and just understand why he was triggered so often into anger. This was one of the emotions that continually came up in the relationship. And it would be a trigger. It would be something that I might do that he felt was disrespectful, and the anger would come out. Where does that come from? Well, let's start with the ACEs questionnaire. And I hope all of you are paying attention for your own life. If you have anger issues, if you have health issues in general, this is the time to really go deep into your subconscious memory and say where, and figure out where this anger is coming from, where this resentment's coming from, where the sadness is coming from, where the feeling of being alone and lonely is coming from. It's all really deeply rooted in adverse childhood experiences. From my many years of studying this and meeting people, talking to people, I love having healthy conversations with people. So let's just look into some of the questions that are asked in the ACES. This one is called a resilience questionnaire. It's based on, it's modeled, the scoring system is modeled after the ACE, Adverse Childhood Study question. The first question that is asked is, I believe that my mother loved me when I was little. That's the first question. You would rate that a yes or a no, or in this case, it is definitely true, probably true, not sure, probably not. We're just going to go yes or no for our simple demonstration here. In my partner's case, hell no was the answer, because his parents gave him away at birth. Almost when he was very, very young, his parents gave him to a relative. Why? Because back in 1944, I think that's his birth year, they had 4 children already. This one came up, and his mom probably didn't want to even go 9 months with Mikhail. But when he was born, the father decided, we can't handle another child. We're going to give him away. ACE's number one problem. We're going to give you away to a person. And actually, this person, I think her name was Mercedes, was very kind and loving to him, but then she gave him away to the wicked aunt and uncle. So again, I would say between the ages of 1 and 3, he had this rejection of parents giving you to someone who's not your parents. And then the next rejection, abandonment, went to an uncle and an aunt who abused him, both physically, probably sexually. I'm finding out little things from his son that there was probably abuse from the uncle sexually, but for sure the aunt abused him physically and verbally. Okay, so you're looking at a childhood experience where did your parents love you? No, not at all. When you think back and say, well, why did they give me away? And I would say even up to 2-3 years ago, Mikhail was still asking the question, why did my parents give me away? That to me was a sign of feeling of deep rejection, abandonment. Even rejection and abandonment are huge energies that create an acid condition in the body. Okay. Number 2, I believe that my father loved me when I was little. Hell no. That's another no. Absolutely. 3, when I was little, other people helped my mother and father take care of me, and they seemed to love me. No. When you're given away, rejected by your parents, orphanage, adoption, any of that plays a major role in the psyche and emotional health of a child. Rejection and abandonment, let's just call it that, which is very low on the scale of consciousness map, and very acidic in the body that can create all kinds of problems like constipation. Okay, the next one. I've heard that when I was an infant, someone in my family enjoyed playing with me and I enjoyed it too. No. They were busy trying to figure out how to get rid of this child because they had four children, I believe, already. And they felt like no faith that we'll get through this. Well, he was the rejected child. All the other siblings stayed with their parent, but he became the rejection, abandoned child, orphan child in a way. When I was a child, there were relatives in my family who made me feel better if I was sad or worried. I doubt it, seriously. The first caretaker, the woman who took care of him for a very short time, maybe. But then when the aunt and uncle show up, the wicked aunt and uncle who owned a brothel, by the way, lots of weird things going on in that household. This is an amazing story. I'm telling you, but it was real. I heard all these stories for 5 years, and I was like, wow, we need to write a book about this. Okay, next it was that, and so all so far these are all no's. This did not happen in his life at all. And then number 6, when I was a child, neighbors or my friends' parents seemed to like me. I don't know about that. Maybe that's a maybe, but probably not, because the aunt and uncle were so controlling and narcissistic that he was just being controlled as a child, beaten, abused. All of those things happen. When I was a child, teachers, coaches, youth leaders, or ministers were there to help me. Now, this might be the first yes or true statement in his life that balances out all the other no's. Okay. When someone in my family cared about how I was doing in school. Maybe, yeah, probably, because he was very successful in his education along the way, becoming a teacher and graduating. So I would say maybe that was a yes. My family, neighbors, and friends talked often about making our lives better. I doubt it very seriously. That did not come up in our conversation at all, except to survive. In Detroit, which is where my friend partner grew up, Detroit, winter months, survival time. They had, I believe there was a garden, and there was always activities for survival. And Aunt was a great cook. Let me tell you that. That, I believe, was the only love in his life, was food. And throughout his whole life, food was his go-to for love. So you can imagine, even though, and he never gained a lot of weight from all that love of food, but that was his comfort from all these ACEs low scores. Number 10, we had rules in our house and were expected to keep them. Absolutely true. And if you didn't keep them, there was a wire or a belt or something that would remind you why you didn't keep them. That was his journey. When I felt really bad, I could almost always find someone I trusted to talk to. Absolutely not. No, not in that household. As a youth, people noticed that I was capable and could get things done. That might be true. So that'd be a 3 out of 12 so far. 13, I was independent and a go-getter. Yes, he did have that quality, sort of. And the last question, and this is 14 questions, which is more than the average ACEs page. I believe that life is what you make it. Maybe or maybe not. But out of the 14 questions, most of them were no's, and only 2 or 3 were yeses. So when you have, that's a high ACE score. When the majority of the questions were answered, no, that didn't happen in my life. The good things really in my youth, in my childhood, those things were very negative, relationships and so forth. So when a person has this type of childhood, what do? Number 1, food is their comfort, because Auntie could cook up some food. I heard so many stories about how Auntie could cook. It was just, that was the love in the household. So you grow up loving food. That's your comfort. And as you get older, you go into the Vietnam War. This was his other traumatic journey, PTSD experience. So with all that childhood trauma, and then the Vietnam War, this is all accumulating in the subconscious as activities of negative impact on your psyche, on your emotions. And then as you meet someone like myself, you're easily triggered if you're not respected in a way that helps you overcome the negative childhood. And that's what happened early in our relationship. There were lots of triggers from me, and that's what I do best. I'm a trigger person. I trigger everybody. I trigger the hell out of people. And then I'm learning to just pause and let them work it out, maybe back off. But the triggers were needed because he was getting a lot of therapy along the way, realizing that he would get angry so quickly about things. A lot of the anger was about disrespect of your authentic self that was lost in your childhood. My partner did not have an authentic personality in his childhood. It was totally controlled by auntie, uncle for years, I think through high school even. And then to go into Vietnam War and into the military, and that's just more control, more control. And a lot of veterans are angry, angry. My first class, Marriage 101, my spouse was a Vietnam veteran, and there were a lot of moments when he would break out in anger from disrespect and too much control. When a military man, in my experience, does not want to be controlled anymore. And I had to learn from Mikhail, my second marriage, 102, to back off and not try and change him. Even though I saw signs that you need help, no, don't help me. I know what to do. Even though you've been constipated all your life, you know what to do. You got some herbs, Swiss Chris. If you ever heard of Swiss Chris, that's a very popular laxative, like herbal formula, but it's milder than most. Later on, he was taking probably heavier stuff. Smooth Move tea, that's a very popular one. But in order to get stuff out, that's what his lifestyle was like. So at the end of his life last year, as the woman who I showed you earlier said, the ACEs determine if you have a high score, you're going to have at least 4 diseases that might show up in your life because of your high ACE score. And Mikhail, in the end, even a year ago at the VA hospital, they diagnosed him with number 1, kidney disease, number 2, bladder problems, number 3, prostate problems. And then the colon issue was always there. He admitted most of his life he was constipated. Why? You're holding in the anger and the pain of people abusing you, rejecting you, abandoning you. You're no good. In fact, you become a person who thinks, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough because why? If mommy and daddy let go of me and push me away, I'm not good enough. So you're fighting that energy all your life. Instead of having a calm, peaceful, nervous system, you're fighting that. And one of the things that Mikhail and I disagreed on, had conflict about, he raised his family in the Seventh-day Adventist religion. He was actually an assistant pastor for many years. This was his comfort. There's nothing like some good old sermon and hymnals and singing in the church to bring you some comfort. I know, I've been there. You go in some of these churches, the choir will take you to a heavenly place and you feel good for the whole day, the whole sermon, the whole worship service. Then you go home, you got to deal with those triggers again, the anger. And that's why the first marriage ended in divorce, even though there were 2 beautiful children brought forth. And then the second marriage ended with the woman having breast cancer and dying. And that was another wound on his psyche because he was the herbalist. He was going to fix this woman's breast cancer. And when that doesn't happen, again, your ego is affected. So I think you all are getting the picture why this beautiful soul had to experience 4 types of diseases, because his journey on planet Earth was full of unloving people, unloving experiences, because it all comes down to love, really does. And I am going to play you a song that has helped me get process the grief from the end of this relationship. This song, it's Bob Marley's, I think his grandson. Oh, I've been playing it all the way from driving from seeing my partner for the last time. I played it when I first heard it. It made me stop and go, whoa, I love that. It's so relevant for my life right now. And I want to play it for you in case you are going through anything similar where someone in your life is leaving you and death is not what we think it is. This man in my life is now free. No more pain. His soul is free. He had to spend a little time with morphine in his body I think to purify his soul. That morphine does put it the morphine puts every organ in your body to sleep basically, and then eventually the body doesn't work. And as I watched him be uh, injected with morphine and slowly leave his presence, he's still breathing. The morphine shuts you down the physical, the flesh area, and his soul is operating inside there. I could see it in his eyes and his no talking. The soul was being purified in that moment of morphine injection after morphine injection. And then yesterday at 8 in the morning, he said, "I'm out of here. Bye bye." He left his body. And I wasn't there, but his daughter, who's been lovingly taking care of him for the last month or so. The lesson is just there's so many. I haven't even covered, I don't think, all of them, but let me just see who's here. Kwame, Robert, yeah, okay, Life's Worth the Limit. Kwame Sunhorse says, condolences, may he rest in peace. Yeah, I think he's resting in power and peace now, because to watch a person you talked with for 5 years and had Scrabble games and chess games, and we had arguments sometimes, and we talked and it had just love, and then conflict, and then to watch him at the end of his life just be totally silent. The peace is coming to the soul, not the body. The body is going, the morphine destroys the body, shuts it down. The morphine shuts down the physical flesh, while the soul, in my view and my experience of watching that process, was being purified. There was probably, I'm imagining, a conversation with him and the creator and the universe about what's next in your journey. And then there was a time and a day, which was amazingly coincided with what we talked about yesterday on my show, the events in Arizona, the anniversary of the major conflict in Arizona with the Reverend Thomas coincided with Michael's departure from his body. All no coincidence. Time to end the conflicts. And Kwame sends lots of hearts. Thank you, Kwame Sunhorse. I feel the comfort. And it's Afro obituary. Write your own story. Absolutely. And I'm writing his story. Veterans are 7% of this country's population. That says a lot for sure, because we need to pay attention to their stories, I think. That's and help them to get back into balance, heal society with society if they're not already. Because PTSD is a soul repair needed. When a veteran is suffering with PTSD, their soul has been wounded in that combat, in that journey. Control, military, control, wounded soul there. And Mikhail experienced that for, I don't know, I just know he was in combat in Vietnam, and I didn't know it, but he was on drugs when he came back from Vietnam. This is what his son told me. So that was part of the reason his marriage didn't last, because there was still the post-traumatic stress disorder from that experience. And Kwame says, the creator knows how much you gave to life. Of course, because the creator is inside of us. This kingdom, I look at it this way, brothers and sisters. When you start having inflammation in your body, pain, suffering, mental disruption, you're out of alignment with your creator. That's why the pain and suffering show up. It's a message to you to get back into alignment. And of course, one of the best ways, I think, is go hug some trees, because those trees are in perfect alignment. You ever notice when you're walking how many trees are in perfect alignment? And how do you know? The leaves are beautiful. The branches are. I have trees in my neighborhood where the branches go over the street onto the other side. Like the branches are so long. That's a perfectly aligned plant with the creator. And so that's why I always recommend you go to the tree, whatever problem you're having, go to the tree. That tree is in perfect. Morphine is the opiate of today. Yeah, unfortunately. He wanted, at first, Mikhail did not want morphine. And that's for this last year was so much pain and suffering. He spent most of his time in bed and then at some point he started even taking aspirin for pain. He didn't even want to do that because as an herbalist, you do everything you can to avoid the over-the-counter drugs. But the last month, he was like, bring on the morphine. I've had enough of this pain and suffering because it didn't end. It didn't end because if you don't heal the ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, the pain will continue because it's more of a mental and an emotional state of your body and your psyche, your spirit. But yeah, bring on the morphine. And my sister, they brought on the morphine at the end of her life. And then within, I would say 3 days, she was gone. Morphine for Mikhail, within 3 or 4 days, he said, I'm out of here. But what it does, the good part about morphine, it puts that conflicted, confrontational body, physical flesh to sleep, to rest, quiets it down. The mouth shuts, no talking, the eyes might open, but there's no more talking when you're in the morphine state. And the body, which has been in such conflict with your belief system, your ego, all that, the body and the ego and the spirit all in conflict. That's why pain. Morphine is brought in, shuts down the physical, but your soul is still alive. That's what I observed. That doesn't shut down your soul. It just shuts down this body. Morphine, any drugs do that. But if you go into meditation, as the doctor suggested, what's the answer to this ACEs chaos and trauma that doesn't often get resolved? Meditation. Mikhail was resistant to meditation because of his Seventh-day Adventist upbringing and experience. Somehow religion shows up in a life, and you put aside any Eastern influence because that's demonic, which is what his belief was about a lot of things. Yoga, he didn't believe in yoga. Nope. And that's why I had to distance myself from him in the recent months, because he had been talking about the fact that yoga was demonic, and I think he was believing some things were demonic. Not the Reiki, though. I did a lot of Reiki on him, which he loved. The laying on of hands, the massage. This man loved to have a hand massage, body massage. He loved that. But when it came to meditation and yoga, that was a no, taboo. And his religion, his Bible would say, and I would say, well, where is that in the Bible? Show me that in the Bible. Well, it's Hindu. We'd have an argument about, well, that's Hindu worship. When you practice yoga, that's Hindu worship, and I can't do that. And his pain would continue. So, as I said, when you're out of alignment with the truth of the Creator, not the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita, whatever, all these holy, the Quran, not that. When you are out of alignment, like the tree, which is in perfect alignment with Creator, the whole thing, a perfect alignment. When you're out of alignment, you're going to have pain. So to push away from meditation, yoga, nature, exercise, the pain is still there because you are out of alignment with the tree. I'm going to just use that tree as an example. That trunk is your vagus nerve, and your vagus nerve will be strong and healthy and help you get rid of pain and inflammation when it is spiritually, mentally aligned with the tree and all of nature. That's the solution to becoming aware. First of all, go on YouTube. If you have any health issues right now, go on YouTube and look at the ACES questionnaire. It's all everywhere. And ask yourself, how many of these things apply to your childhood? Then you go into a meditation with the tree, maybe. and start letting go of any rejection issues, of any I'm not good enough issues, of any I wish they hadn't done. Why did that happen to me? Why did that have to happen to me? That's a really, really low energy question. Why did that have to happen to me? Get beyond that as quickly as you can, because to continue to keep asking, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Because we are here to evolve. That's why it's happening to you. You are here to learn the lesson and move on to the next level of consciousness. Like, why did it happen? Because you need this lesson. There's always a lesson in pain, sickness, and disease every time. Breast cancer. I wanted to share with you a message that Dr. Christian Northrup showed about a woman with breast cancer. What she said, her journey through chemotherapy, radiation, losing her hair, was a serious wake-up call for her. That it changed her life in a way that she appreciates life more. It made her more grateful for everything in her life. So when I read that, I realized that yes, women who go through the hell of chemotherapy, go through the hell of the sick care system, chemotherapy, side effects of drugs, blah, 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 they come out on the other side with gratitude. But I'm going to suggest there's a better way to get gratitude, and that's to have the courage to discipline yourself with lifestyle medicine, coming off the crappy food, going to the trees more often, practicing gratitude. There's a lot of ways to overcome breast disease, and I talked about that last night with this pastor, Thomas, who had 10 children, and she had blocked colon. She had breast disease. She refused surgery and chemo, and she overcame all of them. Why? Because she was so focused on her religion at the time and her ministry that she was building in Arizona and Chicago, that she didn't have time for disease. She looked at that as just a minor distraction, and she did not go full head into chemo poisoning the body, which makes it a hell experience. But that's what changes some women. So I applaud any woman who goes through that hell and comes out with the bald head, whatever, and has changed, their life has changed. That's what it's all about, really. Whatever experience we go through, let it be one that it helps you evolve into a better, more loving, first for yourself, fly. First love yourself, and then come out of it with even more. Okay, I got Kwame is pain has two purposes. You change or you die. Yeah. If you don't change, that pain, and pain, let's look at pain as inflammation. Usually your mind, your thoughts are inflamed, hot, they're angry, they're bitter, resentment, all that's pain. That creates pain. All those negative emotions will create pain. So if you don't change and let go of the anger, the resentment, the why did my parents give me away, the sadness, that's the sadness Mikhail carried in his subconscious for many, many years. And that led him to those 4 weaknesses and weak organs in his body that brought him to 77 years, because he was consciously trying to overcome what he didn't realize was mostly thoughts and mental, but he was trying to overcome the consequences in his body with herbs and supplements. He had tons of herbs and supplements in his cabinet. And that will only last for a short time. That's why I gave up most of my supplements after leaving the health food store industry. I realized that wasn't really helping me. But yoga was helping me, and meditation, walking, and tree hugging. That's what's helping me every day. And Kwame says, calisthenics is a form of yoga. Yeah, calisthenics, which Mikhail and I would go to the beach. He would be doing his army workout. Now, that's good up until maybe your 60s. But when you get to your 70s, I'm finding out you don't have to go work that hard. Boom, 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 boom. You can slow it down. Yoga just slows down the calisthenics. Yoga is, I don't know that calisthenics focuses on the breath as much. I know when I did my really workouts, I wasn't concentrating as much on the breath. In yoga, that's the number one focus is your breath. And I told you I was going to show you how to produce stem cells with your breath. Let me keep going. Okwame says, YouTube, I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Your thoughts or YouTube, which is real. Yeah, all of that is true. Very true. And I want to show you, if you're concerned about your health and you need a really good boost. I saw this video that was so enlightening for me. There's a guy by the name of Wim Hof. He does the ice exercises, ice adventures. He takes men to ice places in the cold weather, and they go out with just their underwear on. So he came up with this breathing technique after his wife committed suicide and left him with 4 children. This stirred him up to create a very strong process for regaining his mental and physical health. And that's where they call him the Iceman. Wim Hof is his name. So he has a breathing that I do often, and I had no idea I was producing more stem cells, but it makes sense. So this breathing technique, if you go breathe in and out for 30 breaths. You do that 30 times. On the 30th breath, you exhale and you hold it for at least, try and hold it as long as you can. You exhale.
Mama Z or Mama Z.
I'm going to put Mama Z on. She's open. I'm going to put her on hold and let her speak after I explain this breathing process to you. Okay, when you breathe in and out for 30, and the last 30, you exhale and hold it out. This is where my friend Robert is so correct on the holding, exhaling. You exhale and you hold it. After you've done that 30 times, you should have enough lung power that you can exhale and hold it for as long as you can. I've done it up to 2 minutes at one time, but most times I can only go up to like a minute. That's when your stem cells are produced. When you're holding the exhale, and inside the body, this guy explained it so well. The stem cells are being produced on that last exhale. And then once you've held it for maybe a minute or two, work on doing it more than once, then 1 minute. And then you take a deep breath in for like a count of 10 or 20. That's your 30 time breath that produces stem cells. So if you can get into that pattern, you don't need any doctors or morphine or any of that. That's going to bring the therapy, internal therapy that your body needs. So Kwame says at 75 doing Tai Chi. Yes. That is what my breatharian friend taught me a lot about, doing Tai Chi. No vigorous exercise, just Tai Chi, yoga. At my age, that's what keeps me healthy, calm, and strong. And then Kwame says, class from the VA on Tai Chi for veterans. Now, I didn't know that. That's something, veterans, take advantage of that, please. You deserve the most from this government than any other person is veterans. You deserve whatever the government is offering and more. So take advantage. Thank you, Kwame, for that reminder. And the VA is also offering something I heard. They're offering breathing practices. They're offering a lot more what you would say new age practices, because they can't get the veterans healed on all these drugs. So they're bringing in more natural therapies. Tai Chi is one. I think they're offering yoga as one of it was yoga. A VA employee said they're offering yoga to veterans. They're doing whatever they can to help our men and women who served in the military. So call your VA representative and get them providing whatever they can, especially if you have a high ACEs score. Talk to your VA doctor about ACEs. They should be well aware of that by now, and ask them to help you overcome, heal, dissolve all those ACEs experiences. So we've got Mama AZ on the line. Let me see if she's still there. I'm gonna open her mic. Mama AZ, your mic is open. Go ahead. Are you there?
Can you hear me, Dr. V?
Go ahead. How's it going today? Mama AZ is in transition from one place to the other, and we want to help her if we can. By the way, let me put up, if you want to donate to her transition of she's being evicted, and I'm gonna put my Cash App up. You can send a donation here. So go ahead, Mama AZ, give us an update.
Well, the updating. Greetings, Brother Kwame. Thank you. Thank us for you helping me. It seems like 100 years to stay grounded and to stay true to my visions and things that I get from the other side. I love you, Brother Kwame. I love you, Dr. V. I love you, Minister. And when I say minister, I mean Minister Cynthia Marie Williams. I want to dedicate this show, Dr. V, to Russell R. Murphy of Murphy's Law in Tucson, Arizona, and the Bonita Vista Apartments, and the angels that showed up at court yesterday, and you know who you were, I swear. And the reason I'm dedicating this show is because of your on time, on point show of knowledge and well-being and wellness. And you're a tree hugger. And you don't take watermelons and put them in the trash because they're propped up against a tree. Now, everything that you said and found information on your show, Dr. V, is so on point to these people here in Bonita Vista Apartments on Coronado 70 South Coronado. And the reason that I'm making a point about this is because the Creator found a way to upchuck me from this dysfunctional crew that has inhabited Bonita Vista Apartments. They need help. And Dr. V, let me tell you, you made me, it was like you hit me upside my head today with the lightning bolt of love with knowledges. That's what I saw in court yesterday with the people that were going in and out the Bonita Vista. I saw this and I give thanks. I'm not upset because this removal has is removing me from spiritual harm. I've been here since 2018, and my time is, and I give thanks to Mr. Murphy of Murphy's Law to say, I'm sick of you, Paris.
So that's like 7 years. So you've been there 7 years.
Yes, it's time.
Yeah.
And you just don't take pine needles out of the garbage because they don't belong to do.
But
That's
Mama Z, that's the mental state of a lot of people in our lives who don't understand the value of nature, things in nature, pine needles, trees, watermelon, whatever. We just go, okay, bye-bye. I understand. We have a lot of mental illness in our country right now, in the world, period. So we have to not be triggered, not be offended. This is my journey with my grandchildren, my whole family. Don't be triggered. Don't be offended. These people are in a whole different state of mind. That's all. We don't judge them anymore. Oh,
yes,
that's what's going on over there. Okay, let me stay in my lane and mind my own damn business, because that's not my business over there. Okay, I'm glad that you are getting out of that situation. You are going to be so much more peaceful. Your body may heal better when you get out of there. So that's the whole plan for you, is to let go of what has been harmful for you emotionally and move on to the next journey, evolving.
You know, Dr. V, we want to add one more thing. When I was in the rehab, recuperating from getting this whole hip done, my dad came to me in a dream, and Russell Murphy has sent an eviction notice to the nursing home where I was, and said, if you don't get back to the apartment in 2 days, we're going to put your stuff out on the street. You're facing eviction. And I'm like, whoa. Anyway, my dad told me to go and take that letter to him to see if I can get an extension from being evicted. And he said to me, you just get out of here. Only reason that he allowed me in his gate was because my driver was Caucasian. I should have known then, but I didn't. I just, okay, all right. But the thing is, when I went to his home, Dr. B, I thought I was walking back in time in my dad's yard. It freaked the bejesus out of me. Been up 2 nights, I'm realizing why my dad came to me and told me to go to Russell Murphy. And that's another show. So thank you, Russell.
Now, I want to play this song for you, all of you, if you're struggling with grief or sadness or letting go. This is a song that just blessed me to no end. I'm gonna play it on my phone, and it's by Damian Marley. He's a Marley family. I think he's Bob Marley's grandson or son. I don't know which one, but this song and all of his music to me now is so soothing and so healing. So I'm going to just pull it up on my computer and hope I don't have any copyright issues. I'm going to play, since it's on my computer right now. Just listen to this, and I won't play the whole thing, but you can find it on YouTube. And this was just a very soothing therapy for me when I said goodbye to my soul partner, Mikhail Eubanks. So may you be blessed with this energy, this music, to realize in the next life, something different will happen, and maybe I'll meet you.
Across the stars, across the night, even when the fire burns out of sight, through every storm, through every fight, I will find you in my next life.
Find you in my next life. I remember the way you held me near. Your voice was the only sound I'd hear. When the world was chaos, you were my calm. You healed my soul with a gentle palm. But the seasons changed and the years grew cold. The story ended before it was told. Time can steal the breath we share, but love like ours will always be there.
Even if the stars collapse tonight,
even if the dark consumes the light.
Through every death, through every fight, I will find you in my next life.
I will find you when the world resets, when every soul clears its own regrets. Through lifetimes lost, through pain and fire, you are the only one my heart desires.
I will find you in the stars above, past the tears and the endless love. Even when the night swallows all light, I will find you in my next life.
So that song goes on and on and on. It gets better and better. I'm not going to play it. I might have copyright issues, but that's been my therapy. And I hope that along with the trees, the nature, meditation, exercise, Tai Chi, yoga, that this will be your medicine to come out of grief and to come out of your adverse childhood experiences, which we all had a few, but some really, like my friend Mikael, had extremely amounts. And that's why he has so much pain and was so resistant to change. But music, that's I play that music every day. And he has other songs that are very similar with the little reggae in there and the beautiful voice he has with this woman. So anyway, I hope this show has blessed you and for helped you in whatever way you needed today. Don't forget to thumbs up and like and subscribe. We're on a journey here to bring you truth. There's not a lot of truth these days out there, but every time I see a big truth, I'm going to bring it right here on Soul Purpose Healing on Sunday, or even during the week. I'm doing more shows during the week because stuff just coming up that needs to be talked about. And I love a healthy conversation. So thank you all for joining me. And everybody get out in the sun. We have some sun today. I thought I saw some lines in the sky this morning. I'm like, they better not bring those lines. We've had some like 2 weeks of just blue skies here in Florida, but they probably going to try and sneak something in. But no matter, the trees, go to the tree and just say, thank you for your protection, your love, and your nourishment, because that's what they do, because they are perfectly aligned with the Creator. Mwah. To all my yogi friends, namaste, sat nam, ashe, ashe, oh, to all my brothers and sisters out there, hotep, hotep, and shalom. Love you all. Have a great day.